Now, why is it? I'm hearing. Oh, because okay, because you've got me on speakerphone.
Have I?
Yeah.
How do I do that? How do I stop that?
Well, you've got to hear me. Otherwise, like if you mute, then I'm not going to be able to hear it. So that's all good. We're live.
Well, excellent.
So, everybody, I would like to introduce you to my dear friend Dan. He has been doing his shamanism with me, and we've just been on an amazing journey together. And I know that everybody knows. Oh, it seems to be my internet is playing up, Daniel. Come on, Spirit. Okay, so Dan and I have been on a massive journey doing our with our shaman healings and everything like that. And I just thought I'd like to bring him in to say hello.
Thank you, and good morning to everybody, and thank you for bringing me in.
Oh, absolute pleasure. Now, Dan, talk to me. What have you been doing in the last? Look at my head. In the last couple of weeks, like, how's your journey going? Oh, Julie's here. Yay! Oh my gosh. Now you are one dedicated friend there, Julie. Thank you so much. This is a third shot. Like the energies have been really strong. Like there's been just so many changes that have been going on a spiritual and a physical level, or mortal level, I should say, where there's been massive shifts of energy and the redirection of ways that everybody's going. I, for one, actually resigned from my job and finished up on Monday and got a job straight away. So I've been really lucky on that sort of side of things. But it gives me a different perspective of what is actually going on. And Spirit was actually talking to me this morning about 7-year cycles and how important it is to make sure, like, do you want to stay in that cycle or do you want to shift and move on? And I've not really been quite aware of that in the past. Whereas, you know, the old habit of you might have you got two things going, Dan? Because I can actually hear myself again.
No, have I got two, what going?
Like, is your iPad running?
No, that's turned off.
Oh, I don't know what's going on then. Spirit's playing up.
It's little voices in your head.
Yeah, I've got a few of those. Yeah. Hey, Vanessa, how you going? And happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much. Yes, so the changes and the 7-year cycle, have you experienced anything with that before? Like, you know, one of the ones on a health cycle is eczema. Eczema runs on 7 years. And it makes a massive difference when we're aware that those sorts of things happen. So what is it that we actually need to do to actually shift or do that change that we want to? Do we want to stay where we are? And that is okay. Do we want to, you know, keep remembering and it's like, you know, in the good old days, or are we actually going to shift forward and like do what sort of changes? Like, you know, what are we going to do with our energies, etc.? Is that something you've ever thought about before? Oh, I've lost you. I must have scared him off. Okay, let's just bring it back to me. There we go. Dan will be back in a minute, I would say. Yeah, so the 7-year cycle can be dramatic. Now, I actually was employed for 7 years before, and I then started in and I got to my long service leave, and I thought, right, I need to make some changes for myself. because I want to grow as a person. So, you know, I made a massive mental shift, and doing that, I actually have done some massive changes for myself on a personal level as well, because, you know, what Spirit's actually bringing up for me is that, you know, you're here for a purpose and for a reason, and you're holding yourself back because you're putting too many commitments together. And it's like, oh, okay. Okay, Julie's going, I'm about to make big changes starting tomorrow. I've been feeling this for weeks. Ah, excellent. Well done. So you'll have to share with me what's actually what you're going to be doing. Like, you can either message me personally in Messenger, Julie, or if you wanted to pop in and just let us know what's going on your world as well. So, as you know, like when I've been doing these Sunday lives, that it started off that I was actually going to be doing some quick readings, and it's just escalated to a whole new level and a whole new community base. So making these massive changes in my life is going to benefit everybody, and Spirit is just saying it's time, like, to step up to the mark and just make sure that you're doing the best of the greater good that's out there. So with all of those sorts of things, it does, like, change is inevitable. If we don't change, and that's actually a conscious, if you don't change, that's not quite the right word that I'm trying to say, but if you consciously want to stay the way that you are, that's okay. That's still a change, because you're actually making that conscious decision to stay there. But if you're wanting to make a difference in your life, in a different way, you can actually do that as well. So everything is conscious. Now, Dan, I can actually see that you're back, but there's no picture. Can you hear me? No? Okay. Not sure what's going on here. Spirit is playing funny buggers at the moment. Let's see what Spirit's actually wanting to tell us. Okay. The vibrations at the moment on Earth Mother are rising quite dramatically, and there's what Spirit's actually asking us to do is to really focus and make sure that we do look and nurture ourselves. Okay, the grounding exercises that we've been doing, and that I actually ask you to do on a regular basis, daily basis, in fact, as often as you possibly can at the moment, just to help raise your vibration. There's a lot of change that's happening here in Adelaide, and we here are setting a pace, and we're setting a high or a different type of level here. So we're leading by example, and we're making sure that we, yay, where are you? Show me through. There you are. Hello. I don't know. You just ran away from home. But it was really interesting, because, like, as you did that, Spirit popped in,
Yeah.
and actually said that Adelaide's actually leading by example with the raising of our vibrations.
Okay.
That Earth Mother is raising. We already know that she's, like, 8,000 or something, but she's actually shifting up again. So the importance of making sure that we stay grounded, but we also keep our vibration growing and rising as much as we possibly can.
Yep.
So yeah, that's huge. So now, obviously, 7-year cycle is when all of a sudden it went, you're out. You got booted out. So I wonder what that was all about.
I don't know. I mean, I can't remember what you heard and things like this. But one of the things in the last few months, a lot of the people that you and I deal with, some of our mentors and stuff like that, have had this conversation. And to me, it's like a changeover regard. It's since about January, February, there's a lot of changes. It's about, to me, it's about nesting or gathering all your eggs, or taking time to look at what you've learned, what you developed, because we're going to need it for the next stage. Sometimes it could be a change of spirit guides. It's usually a pretty powerful time. But I really haven't been able to put my finger on the pulse. All I know is that it's like ready. You must be prepared for the next stage. Take the time to learn what you've developed, to learn your skills, because they are going to be taking us up to the next level. But obviously you can't do that unless you're grounded. Me personally, there's been a hell of a lot of changes in my life in the last few months, like leaving Defence Forces. I'm actually in the process of moving back to Victoria, so then I can, take up my business from here. So it's about, as I said before, it's getting rid of the old and get ready for the new, whatever that may be. But it's being open and prepared and to accept what's about to happen.
There's some, this morning when I was actually doing my meditation, and I was accessing my Akashic records, and it actually went all the way back to Norwegian time. And this particular, I don't know what they're called. They're like a king. And the king actually didn't know how to take no for an answer. And so then, as much as like they were wanting and taking and it was like, no, this is not it. And it was really quite interesting that the way that the Akashic record actually had been written was that in this particular cycle, and it's been going on for a number of lifetime cycles, is that the king, if you said no to this king, he would actually take your heart. Yeah. So then that was it was just the most, the experience was just enormous. Like I'm in this meditation, and then all of a sudden, Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael and a couple of my guides were actually in the room with me. And all of a sudden, I just felt this big thing just entering into my heart space and my heart cavity. And it was, even now I can still feel it. It's almost like I've got how you have a full belly? Yeah. It was like this, and it was like this time of change. And like, I was gifted back what was rightly mine. And that cycle was actually 7,000 years. So it still had the 7 in it. Yeah. But I've got back what's rightfully mine and changed and rewrote that particular Akashic record that's going back that amount of time. So it's going to be like the time of change for me and, now. And so then I've actually been thinking of all the things that I've been doing for myself for the last 7 years, and like putting my spirituality on a back burner. And, it was probably December of this year that I've actually started to step forward and do what I actually promised to be on this mortal land for, was to, do the greater good for mankind and the spirits and, the healing and the nurturing and things like that, and standing up and, being within my power. And that has been enormous as well. So
yeah, it is, because the change in you over the last, since you said about December when you made that conscious decision, has been enormous. And you notice your skills, your sensitivity, and everything else increases. It's that you've got to take that step forward. We all know. People like yourself and I know our direction, our path, and what they want us to do. And it's not until we accept it and take that first step is when we truly start to learn and get developed in with whatever specialties that we operate in.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of the things I've been talking about is I've actually almost stepped away from the hands-on side of things, and it's the creativity aspects coming through. It's like your medicine drums. It's like you're creating your smudge fans. It's the creativity now, gathering your tools, because we're going to need our tools for the next cycle.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree on that one. And like for myself, like I've been doing extra, learnings with Dakota.
Yeah.
So, just really shifting up that way. I probably should let everybody know. I'll bring that up in a moment, Julie. So we're doing, I won't be here doing the Sunday Live next weekend or the weekend after as well. So we're doing that next level shift as well. Hopefully we're doing it together next weekend.
Yeah. I'll give it a crack.
You give it a crack?
Give it a crack.
Awesome. Just the changes, and like, isn't it interesting as well? Spirit's just wanting me to say this, is that as much as our training has been together, our diversity is so different.
It is. Oh, and this is a special connection that you and I have, because we've done a lot of the same courses, but our paths are going in a slightly different direction. But we always still meet in the middle, because if I've got any questions or I need to know anything, I always come to you, and vice versa. Yeah. So to have each other's back, and yet have a total understanding on, I understand the direction you're going, you understand the direction I'm going. It enables us to be better practitioners and better healers and whatever it may be, but it's for the greater of the people that come and see us.
Absolutely.
Because I always say that if I can't help you, I know someone who can, and it's people like yourself who you trust. Yeah. It's not about who's got the most clients, who's got this. It's about giving the best for the people that come to us.
The right person. That's correct. I totally 1000% agree on that one. And I think what I love about you is your integrity and your truth.
Well, you have to be. You got to be true to yourself, and you got to be true to the cause. I mean, when I say the cause, it's about honoring the spirits that are working with you. Yeah. I can't do this by myself. You can't do this by yourself. And when you've got that connection with who you're working with or whom you're working with, you've got to honor the traditions. You've got to honor the teachings. You've got to, you can't just talk the talk. You've got to walk the walk. And it's got to become part of your life, because they won't let you advance further unless you give them some dedication. It's like signing the dotted line. I sign my life away to do this type of work. And once you've made that commitment, that's when things happen.
Yes.
So,
I 100% agree with you on that one. It's like, what's really interesting for me is growing up in, the Christian, or my mum was Catholic. Dad didn't give a real toss. Like, obviously he was raised in a boarding house, or boarding home, because he was an orphan. But so he was raised under the brothers, down at Salesian College and everything like that. So he really gave a rat's per se. But I find that Dad was the most honourable, ethical person that you could ever meet. Like, on a spiritual level, he knew that you don't have to be connected to a church or a thing, and I learned so much from him being, on the land, and what the skill sets that he gave me as a person. But on the other side of things, I actually had my mum with her Catholicism, and I actually got nothing out of that. But because out of due respect and the way that I was raised, I had to stay there until I was legally 18. But I used to sit there in the church and like people would go to church and that's fantastic. But the thing is, like half of them were asleep and snoring. The other half were just, mumbling amongst themselves. There was no commitment. And I'm just sort of sitting there and I'm going, why are you here?
You're going through the motions.
That's it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what you're saying. Like, we need to be committed. And so when I was legal to be able to leave, like, under my mum's direction, I made a conscious effort. Like, and the one thing that was point for me in the Bible was that, Saint Peter, I think it was, like, was told by Spirit, like, build a church. And he spent all these years, and I think that was 7 years as well, if my memory serves me correctly. And he built a church of bricks. And then he went, there you go, look at what I've done. And he said, that you've got it wrong. I asked you to build a church of people, not a church of bricks. So the misunderstanding, and the most important thing for me is that, we having that commitment spiritually and being able to make that difference as well. And I'm not practicing or preaching anything by any stretch of the imagination, but I have written, done that commitment, as you said, signing on the dotted line to do what I've actually been brought here to do.
That's true, very true. And I guess I'm like you. I was brought up as a Catholic until the age of about 16, and 17 I left home and stuff like that. So I'm.
Can I stop you here? I've got a little surprise for you.
Okay. Can
you see that?
No, I can't see anything.
Oh, Amanda's just popped in. Two of my favourite faces. Love you both.
The gorgeous Amanda.
Oh my God. Like, Amanda is like an Argyle diamond. She's just rare. She's just the most beautiful. Yeah. Having both of you in my life is just, I've just been so gifted.
Over the last 2 years or thereabouts, we've had some very special people come into our lives, and I can count on one hand the people that have got me for where I am today. And it's the like of yourself, Amanda, Matthew, Kylie, Kelly. There's a small group of us, and it doesn't matter where I am or where I'm going to go in life. My heart belongs to you guys, because without what you've given me, I wouldn't be where I am, and I wouldn't be able to go forward. And it's not about sending each other messages all the time or giving each other a call, because when we connected on such levels, it's like the unspoken word. There's more, you can hear more through silence than you can hear through talking, if that makes sense. But yeah, Amanda is just a beautiful, beautiful person, and her family, and I will definitely be going down that way before I move to Victoria to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh dear, you've gone frozen. Oh no, you're back again now.
I'm here.
You made me cry. But Amanda's actually just popped up and said that you're making me cry. You are, Amanda. You're amazing. Like, just having, as you said, the last couple of years, and having the right people come into our life means that, in a way, we're honouring ourselves and opening up ourselves enough to have those right people come into us as well.
Yeah.
And, that connection, and, it's almost like this yin and yang, and like, we just meld. It's just like this whole comfort zone. Like, as soon as I see your face, or, Amanda or whatever, like, it's almost like I'm home. Like, we were talking about bricks before. Bricks are not a home. Like, yeah, they, stop the snow falling on our heads and keep us warm.
Yeah.
But home, like, it is for me, you and Amanda, and all those people that have made such an impact in my life. And you're right, like, some of my best friends, I may not speak to them for months and months and months, but I know for a fact that I can pick up that phone, or I can text or whatever, or, or just say, thinking of you, love you, and, it's enough. Um, yeah, it's just an incredible scenario to be in. And, for us to be able to share that love and that, the gift of the healing that we do, like, obviously there's other modalities also, but, leading by example in having that type of a community shows people that it's okay to be safe. Like, you can be safe, and you can actually reach out and, and grow and have that ripple effect.
Yeah.
Amanda's just popped something up. I'll read it out. You actually make my heart sing. We are truly blessed to have each other, coming to be a part of a tribe.
Yeah.
We are.
And I mean, people come and go in lives, but when you've got this type of connection, there is no distance that could ever be put between people. It's like when you're doing distance healing.
Yeah.
When I do my distance healing, usually I've got like a teddy bear on my massage table, which represents the person. And once I close my eyes and get into that meditative state, or whatever it may be, I swear the person's lying on the table. And this is the connection that we have. As you said, you might not speak to someone for quite some time, but all you got to do is think about that person, and you never be surprised that if that person rings or sends you a text message, because you've already the connection, or the gateway is open up.
Yeah.
But what we've learned, the group of us that have been working together for quite some time, we're all going on our different paths. But and then I said before, if I can't do something, I know the people that will help. It's not about us. We've got gifts, and we've got to use what we've been given. But it's helping those on their own path. And I believe there's a lot of talented people out there who can do what we can do, but just need that nurturing that we've had.
Yeah.
Because I solely believe I've got to be out there to help people.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is not to be kept. Knowledge is to be shared.
It's really quite interesting, like, that you say that. I don't know if you've seen the event that I've got coming on the 25th of May.
No.
But there's actually, like, the heading on that, I'll have to find it, but basically it was something that Spirit actually said to me, and I posted it as the advert, and it's exactly that, is making sure that, and we keep those people in that safe place as well, so that they can actually rise and, do what they can do in that safe space. Like, we had the safe space ourselves. For us to actually be able to do what we're doing and raising our vibration, etc. And, again, it's our time to step up to the mark and, to help bring people forward as well. So it's not just our healing side of things. Spirit is actually asking us to step to the next level as well, and getting those workshops happening and all that sort of thing as well. So I just got a massive on the back of my head, and it's like we've been talking about it and we haven't done anything. I just don't want to ignore Julie. I'll just read this out because I think it's quite poignant as well.
Mm-hmm.
With the big changes.
Yeah.
Big changes, diet, mindset, work. I've been procrastinating and not giving myself enough love. I feel it's a turning point in my life. I need to stop letting toxic people rent space in my head. I have a lot to share with the right people. And then your vibe attracts. Julie, amazing.
It's true, very true. I mean, sometimes we're our own worst enemies. It's the voices. I know a couple of people who suffer from like PTSD and stuff like that, who they constantly talk. And what I've realised is people talk a lot because once they stop, it's the voices in the head that gets the better of them.
Yes.
And it's a matter of controlling it. So, and it's like when I'm doing a meditation, I'm the biggest critic for myself.
Yeah.
If I'm going into a trance and stuff like that, I've got to remove my inner my blockages to saying, is this me? Is it my thoughts? Or is it actually spirit coming through? And once, I mean, it's no easy process, and I still go through the different doubts at different stages. But once you start believing in yourself, everything opens up, and that's when the connection truly comes forward. And it's self-confidence, believing yourself, and believing with those you're working with, is they'll come forward. You've got to let them.
Yeah. You've gone a bit muted, buddy.
Sorry?
You've gone a little bit muted.
Oh, have I?
Oh, that's better. Now, my darling Amy has just popped in to say hello. And Julie has just said, knowledge is to be shared. I believe that is my work in this world. So all these confirmations are coming through. Amy said, Dan, you're exactly right. Mary has been the only one that has actually been open with me and has shared knowledge with me and not just giving me half-truths.
Well, it's like when you're giving a reading to someone. I mean, I think we've all heard before, if you've got a message from spirit, it might be the red elephant carrying a pink handbag. You go, I can't say this to somebody. It doesn't make sense. It's when you try and put your interpretation on the message, that's when it gets scrambled. If you say it might mean totally, it makes sense to the person you're giving it to. And this is part of the thing about this journey. It's not trying to interpret what you're feeling, sensing, or hearing. It's just giving whatever's given to you. Because it's not our message, it's a message for us to pass forward.
And it's also like on the healing side of things, or the teaching that Amy's talking about, just because I have that knowledge doesn't mean, like, you know, it's for me to share. I've no right to actually hold it in. And, you know, but as we've been talking about, we've been doing the same type of learnings and teachings and workshops, but your interpretation or what your gift is, you utilize it very differently to how I utilize it. And the same with Amanda. Like, you know, we're a tribe of people that have so unique talents, but we've had similar education, but Spirit's actually given us, you know, we use it differently. I don't know how to explain it.
It is, I mean, it's like when you do any of these courses, or any courses, whether it's through work or through spirituality and things like that, your teacher teaches you, and it's up to you to interpret that and to go forward.
That's right.
If we're here to, I mean, it's like if I'm doing Reiki, I call it Reiki because people, when you talk about spiritual healing, shamanic healing and stuff like that, it goes over some people's heads. Okay, I'll do a Reiki session on you, but when I start, everything I've learned goes out the window, because once you get into that state, the guides come through, the spirit comes through, they'll work on the person that needs to be done. And if you can step back and let them do their work, that's where it truly happens. And we all work very similar, you know. But you're right, we've all been taught the same, but you've got to take your own way of doing things. And it's just sharing, because I honestly believe that there's more techniques that they're going to give us, but we won't learn those techniques until we look at each other. Because there might be a combination of what Amanda does, what you do, what I do, and then all of a sudden we'll sit down and go, hey, I think we've come up with something new. Let's give this a try.
Yep.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You know, they'll never give you the full power or the full knowledge to know everything. It's like you get a group of you together, put your knowledge and your experience together, develop something new, and then go out there and teach it and try it.
Yep. We're going to be enough again. So I'll just read out a couple of things. Amy said, I've only ever been told to figure it out, and very few share ways to figure it out and don't give guidance. And then she said, except with Mary. So, which is really quite interesting, like how everybody works. And sometimes with people that actually do the half truths, they just give a a blanket reading as an example, that's when I worry, like, how much of that is truth as well. Like, if you're making someone else actually have to, learn about it, or, as you said, if Spirit's saying it's a pink elephant with a red handbag, is that, right? Like, so we need to share that experience, we need to share that information. If there is no right or wrong, as soon as I actually sit here in this chair on a Sunday, I get guided straight away as to what to do. I've tried to write and do something, and then all of a sudden it just goes, oh, you've been sitting here next to me. It just goes out the window. It's just like, oh, okay, let's go. Julie's actually putting up, I'm starting my Reiki course tomorrow. I've had it 6 months. I've had it 6 months, plus it's time to move forward. Knowledge is gold. Thank you, beautiful people, for the guidance. Oh, Julie, congratulations. How exciting. So one of the things as well, obviously, when I did that quick reading with you, Julie, that cleansing that we talked about is really important. You need to do that between every single client. No ifs, no buts. Clearing your space. So the grounding exercise that we did this morning, really make sure that you do that. Make sure you actually do your explosion and keep yourself safe, because a lot of people, when you're doing your healings, if you don't clear your space after as well as beforehand, you may have some residual as well. So that's just a little tip from myself, but it's really, really important, and you need to buy bucket loads of sage, I can tell you.
I'm surprised the police haven't been called sometimes, the amount of sage I burn.
I actually went out before, because I did a healing this morning before I went live, and I went out and got, so obviously I cleared my space, did the healing, cleared my space again, then went out and made myself a cup of tea, walked in and went, oh, it's a bit smoky in here, but then I actually had to clear my space ready for the live session. So it was sort of like, one of those, what do you call it? A Cheech and Chong movie where, like, they would be smoking so much weed that the smoke was just permeating out, and Craig just goes, oh my gosh, we're going to have the smoke alarm go off in a minute if you make any more. It was just really funny.
Yeah, I've been caught out a few times. I'll go and clear my room. I've got 2 sliding doors, and I forget to open them when I'm doing the smudging, and smudge my room, smudge myself, and whether I'm using crystals or whatever I'm using, I smudge them too. And all of a sudden you can barely see anything. You open up the doors and smoke goes outside, and you wonder how long is it going to take for someone to call the police, because it does smell like weed. But it hasn't happened, so I guess.
Okay, so Amanda's just got, we share as much as we possibly can. We all need to be sharing the love and doing this work. We are here to assist our planet and people to evolve and grow and be the best versions of ourselves. You're absolutely right. And yes, we are live, Roz. It's been like, this is our 3rd time lucky. I was trying to get Dan on before and it didn't quite work. So went in onto the Facebook Live. That was a bit of an epic fail, but that's all right. We got there in the end. And Amanda just has to go. Miss you all so nice. See your gorgeous faces. See you soon.
Take care. Love you heaps.
Okay. And I've been meaning to message you as well, and I do apologise, but know that in my heart of hearts that I've actually been thinking of you. Okay. And take care. Oh. So for someone that's not done a live before, I think you've done really, really well, Monsieur. How did you feel?
Well, we've done a lot of live connections through our discussion groups and stuff like that. So, but it's again what I was saying about when I'm going to doing a trance and stuff like that. It's you've got to put yourself out there. You've got to remove your own doubts. You've got to remove your own blockages to go forward. And when you said to me this morning, because I'm in Victoria at the moment, I was in Melbourne overnight and I had to drive to South Gippsland, and I just got here probably 20 minutes before we went online. I just talked to my father, and Next minute I see, do you want to go live? And I'm going, you know what? Let's give it a crack.
Sorry
Because
about
if I don't, I know Spirit will play the games and they'll go, well, we told you so, or if you're not going to take the next step, then we'll make things a bit difficult. So you just got to accept it and go with it.
Yeah, absolutely. But there's a couple of workshops that we need to look at doing together as well. I know that Spirit actually brought it up a couple of months ago, but
Yeah.
I'm being told that we've got to do it sooner rather than later. And there's a couple of ideas that I know that you've got as well. So that's something. So have that in the pipeline shortly. Now, Julie has just said, I'm going to smudge. Thank you. I'm going to smudge with sage, get out in the garden for some grounding and meditation before bed. Julie, make sure that you actually do that smudging before you go to bed. I'll probably be doing it now and then do another one later on because you've got a couple of gremlins in the house. And if you like, and you need to be ready for tomorrow as well. So making sure that you've had that pure intention. If you do struggle to try and remove those couple of, there's two spirits there that probably are not there for the greater good. So when you're actually doing the smudge, go through the whole house and making sure that you get into every nook and cranny. There's something around the linen press. I'm not sure what's going on there, but it's really important that you do that. Make sure that you actually do your grounding exercise as well tomorrow morning, and just continue to ground throughout the day. If you struggle, please don't hesitate to message me, and I can help you remove those spirits as well. Unless, do you want to do it now, Dan? Work with her on it?
If you want. I mean, you do things a little bit different to what I do, so I'll just put my thoughts and intentions out there and see how we go.
All right. What do you reckon, Julie? Do you want to quickly do it now? She might have disappeared. We do have a delay. We do, like, and our thoughts and intentions are really powerful. It was really quite interesting while we're waiting. Oh, Julie's saying yes, please. All right. Okay. I'm going to go quiet for a little bit. All right, Julie, what I want you to do is actually stand in the middle of your house. I don't know if you're on your mobile phone or whether you are on a laptop, but if you have to unplug and just go into the middle of the house, that would be really good. All right. Okay. Haven't really done a house clearing like that one before. That was a bit interesting.
Yeah, I usually use my pendulum and stuff like that. So this time I just went visual, and I could actually see some of the dark shadows. I created a vortex and drawing it in from all the house through the center and removing it through there, and then reversing the direction of the vortex and bringing the energy coming back in to cleanse the house. It's quite good.
So very similar myself actually, and once I actually found, I encased them, and then I actually sent them back through with pure love intention, and sent it all the way through. I didn't call it a vortex in my mind, but I saw exactly the same thing. And then Julie, what we did, I actually then did this massive golden beam that went through the whole of the house, and then did like a bubble around it to hold it in that space. So you saw that as well, did you? Well, there you go.
Yeah, because it's important. I mean, I know when I do entity clearings or negative energies removal, it's important not only just to do the person, you do the person, the house, and also the property.
Yes.
Because it's easy to remove it from somebody, but for something in the house, it's like a leech. They'll just attach back onto, and that's what I just started to do. It's like a whirlwind, I guess. Creating a vortex started within the house, then expanded to the within the room to the house, and the house to the property, and removed it all from there, and reverse the cycle.
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? So we both did the same thing without even actually knowing what the other person was doing. Like, that's the connection that we have, and that's just so pure and powerful.
Yeah.
You know, we were all interconnected, and as you said, your style normally is very different, but you're happy to come in and do what we needed to do.
Well, I mean, as I said, you've got to. It's good to have a toolbox with different tools, and as long as you know how to use them and stuff like this. But when you haven't got your tools, you've got to rely on your skills and your ability. And as I said, the connection that we have to be able to just do it. And when you talk about it, it's amazing how similar that we work together. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that was amazing. Thank you so much. It's so good to see your face, by the way.
Thank you. I'm a bit scruffy. I haven't shaved and stuff like that, but hey.
I didn't shave this morning either. And like normally I actually, as you know, wash my hair and have everything pretty, but having a new job, I need to wash my hair tomorrow. Being so curly, like if I wash it too often, it's like, Julie's actually said, thank you, beautiful ones. I'll do my part now. Much love. Excellent.
You're welcome. Thank you.
That's well, I suppose like we've been on now for almost 50 minutes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that time has gone exceptionally fast. Thank you so much for your time today. And
love being here.
Yeah, I've loved having you.
I'll come back again.
Yeah, please do. We should actually like a little session.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, you keep well and keep safe.
You
All
too.
Right? I love you lots.
Yeah, you too. And thank you for everyone for listening.
You too. Keep up, darling.
Okay, bye.